This video is sponsored by Squarespace. Whether you want to create a beautiful online portfolio, have an online store, or membership space, Squarespace is the all-in-one platform to build a beautiful online presence and run your business.
Riddle. What does this box and paper toilet seat covers have? They were both used, owned, conceptualized, not technically made, but still the owner of both, Josephine Pomeroy-Herrick. And this, y'all, is her writing habit. Oh, it's unboxing time!
Josephine Pomeroy-Herrick was born in 1864 in Auburn, New York, to Theodore and Elizabeth Pomeroy. Her father served as a congressman in the House of Representatives from 1861 to 1869. He was even Speaker of the House for one day in March of 1869. In September of 1888, Josephine Pomeroy applied for her United States passport. She was 24 years old and was described in her application as being 5'3" tall, blue eyes with light brown hair with a fair complexion, round face, and a rather large mouth. Okay, it's kind of rude, but whatever. Thanks, U.S. passport. Based on this data, the family's oral history, and the cut and fit of the garments that have survived from this trip, and the fact that she was married in 1891 to Frank Herrick, it is safe to assume that Josephine traveled with her family in a sort of grand tour around Europe during 1888 and 1889, as was the fashion for well-to-do young American women. Notably, after her trip and marriage, Josephine went on to become an inventor, coming up with basically what I would consider the cocktail tongs, this cool little bucket trolley thing, and finally, and most importantly, paper toilet seat covers. Additionally, Josephine Pomeroy-Herrick was the mother to Josephine Ursula Herrick, a notable photographer and disabilities rights activist. The Josephine Herrick Project, a non-profit organization, was founded by Josephine Ursula Herrick to teach World War II veterans photography as a way to heal and process their trauma. The Josephine Herrick Project is still an active non-profit today, teaching at-risk youth, immigrants, veterans, and people with disabilities photography in New York City. I think it's safe to say that Josephine Pomeroy-Herrick was an incredible woman with a fascinating family history, brilliant mind, who raised world-changing children, and finally, she had excellent taste in fashion.
I am a former horse girl. I inherited my horse girl status from my mother. I grew up riding, I grew up showing, and I also totally bugged my mom for photos of me on the ponies and the horses to kind of, prove that. There's a very sentimental attachment to this acquisition as well. I think riding side saddle is actually really cool. Everything I know about it, what little experience I have doing it, I think it's actually really awesome. And I have a lot of respect for women who do ride side saddle. I think it's really cool. Anyways, long story short, horse girl, horse family, riding habit, let's open it. I'm so excited. All right, I'm gonna lay out my archival paper on the table, and then we're gonna get into this baby.
So friends, the time has come for me to finally get my stuff together and create a website where I can share videos, photos, and more. I had already decided on using Squarespace to create and host my website, so it was quite serendipitous when they reached out to me about sponsoring this video. They have gorgeous templates that fit a variety of needs, whether it's a blog, online store, or membership-only area where you can even host online workshops, which is exactly what we need for these 2021 vibes. With loads of plugins and an easy-to-use interface, Squarespace makes it so simple to create a space on the internet that looks beautiful on a browser as well as on your phone or iPad, because let's be honest, there's nothing more cringy than a website that doesn't work on mobile. Currently, I'm working on building my own website, and hopefully I'll be able to launch it soon. If you're looking to build yourself a new website or online store, head on over to squarespace.com/AbbyCox to save 10% off of your first purchase of a website or domain using code AbbyCox.
Just another huge thank you to Squarespace for sponsoring this video. Pink. Okay. Obviously this is black, so it's gonna be blobs of black fabric for a while. We have hair all over this. Either cat or dog hair. Oh, it's brown actually. Oh, wow. Oh, see, this is already gonna stump me because I've never looked at a riding habit before, and I'm like, okay, there's hooks and stuff here, obviously to hold the skirt up, but I have no idea what I'm looking at. But that's what makes it fun, right, guys? We discover it together. Oh, this is really nice. Ooh, this is nicely made. Ooh, this is, oh goodness. Oh, I am going to be confused. All right, moving on. I believe these are gonna be the trousers. Yeah. Holy long crotch, Batman. God, this stuff is in fantastic condition. Oh, the buttons are really nice little engraved detail on it. Oh, it's padded. Oh, the butt's padded. Fun. Okay. Oh my gosh, we have so much to unpack with this thing. Whoa. That is stiff. And here's your prop. Okay, my first gut reactions on this is the reinforcements on her jacket. This is, wow. Oh God, this is gorgeous. Oh. So this was made Burgess, New Burlington Street, Regent Street West. Ladies Tailor and Habit Maker, New Burlington Street West. I will do some research and then I'll just pop in as editing Abby and fill in this or voiceover or something.
And now it is time to tell you the short story of Burgess, Ladies Tailor and Habit Maker. While they were not prolific in their advertisements, unfortunately, I was able to put together some puzzle pieces to tell a short little story. New Burlington Street was established in the mid-1700s, situated between Savile Row and Regent Street. New Burlington Street catered to both private residences and businesses, with a variety of characters calling the street home for the past 300 years. Our building in question, number 1 New Burlington Street, functioned as both a private residence and, occasionally, as host to small businesses. However, the most notable resident of New Burlington Street during the Victorian era was Richard Bentley and Sons Publishers. They were located at number 8 New Burlington Street and seem to have been an important establishment in Victorian London, with multiple ads published in all of London's newspapers every damn day. The earliest reference I found for Richard Bentley and Sons was in 1853, and they were still located in New Burlington Street until the end of the 1880s. Another neighbor was Madame Julie Soibet, court dressmaker. She was located at number 9 New Burlington Street. Between having large sales and proclaiming the royal family as customers, Madame Soibet also seemed to have found great success on New Burlington Street. Now, as for Burgess, I found a small ad for Burgess, Ladies Tailor, located on Oxford Street in 1881. And while this isn't the correct location of the business for Joseph Pomeroy's visit, it does help establish their existence and a certain amount of longevity within their trade. In June 1885, there was a notice in the Standard. Mr. Baker & Sons will see by auction on Friday, June 26th at 2, an amply secured profit rental of £490 per annum arising from the well-built house and shop, number 1 New Burlington Street, occupying an important position only one door from Regent Street, containing 5 floors and basement, and producing from responsible tenants a rental of £665 per annum, and held for an unexpired term of 18 years at a ground rent at £175 per annum, thus giving a profit rental of £400 per annum and offering a lucrative investment. Flash forward to February 1886, we find ads in the newspaper, chambers to let. First and second floor, together or separate, suitable for milliner or dressmaker, or as bachelor chambers. One door from Regent Street, attendance and cook included, very moderate rent. See manager, 1 New Burlington Street, Regent Street, London. And then finally, after hours and hours of shifting through countless Richard Bentley and Son advertisements, I was able to find one and only one reference to Burgess being at number 1 New Burlington Street. And that ad came almost exactly 1 year after the Chambers to Let notice was published. February 10th, 1887. Assistant wanted. A young man to assist in costumes and mantles. Apply to G. Burgess, number 1 New Burlington Street, Regent Street. From this ad, we can now deduce that Burgess relocated his shop around February 1886 and was still there in 1889. And possibly had even expanded into number 2 as well, according to this 1888 insurance map of London. And do you want to know the most amazing thing of all, friends? The house still, somehow, amazingly, still stands today. Though many of the houses of New Burlington Street were destroyed and rebuilt in the 20th century with much more fashionable addresses like 23 Savile Row and Regent Street, somehow the quiet little townhouse, number 1 New Burlington Street, with its elegant brick facade and 5 stories, is still around today. Looking at this footage, it's almost like a window into the past, seeing London as Josephine saw it, turning onto New Burlington Street from Regent Street, having a fitting for her riding habit, and then afterwards popping into Richard Bentley and Sons to buy a new novel, and maybe even visiting Madame Sorbet to see the latest fashions from Paris. I don't know when Burgess left number 1 New Burlington Street, but I think it's safe to say that they had several very successful years there, in the lovely brick house nestled between Savile Row and Regent Street.
I've never felt anything so stiff, and this stiffness actually goes all the way around the bottom of the bodice. So this is not soft at all. It has been extremely well enforced, and there's boning. It's baleen as well. It's so well made, I don't think I'm gonna be able to figure out what's in here. So it buttons down the center front. These buttons are gonna be glass or something because they're cold to the touch. And it's a variety of buttons. None of, like, do any of these buttons actually match? The 6 different types of buttons on the front of this thing. So obviously she's popped a few buttons in her day and then had to replace them. It is completely lined on the inside, and it's enclosed. Unlike gowns from this time period, and there's no like additional lining piece, almost like a bag lining, if you will. This is the opposite of that. This does have a full lining on the inside, and the boned encased pieces are all completely hidden underneath, probably because there's a lot of, there's padding. There's a lot of tailored structure going on in here, and so you need to have a layer between everything, unlike with ladies' gowns. So yeah, it has been padded out here in the side bust area to create a really nice smooth shape, and whoa, does it go. She is gorgeous, and it's also completely shaped in the front as well. So on the button side, there's one long bone and then a short bone at the other dart, and then on the button side there are 2 long bones that come through, and then a 3rd bone at the 2nd dart. There's boning at the side seam. This thing is really heavily boned. The lining, I believe it was a navy. I don't think it's a black that's been faded, and it's a satin, a cotton sateen. I'm not 100% sure. Sleeves are also completely lined. The lining has been hand stitched in, hand worked buttonholes that are lovely. She did ride because she's definitely popped some seams right here in the sleeve. That would make sense to me. So we have 3 buttons on the cuffs, and this is adorable. This little like red and white little bit of detail here, this is just so cute. She has it on the sleeves, and then she has it on the collar too. And it's like this beetled linen that is, my fingernails are already getting dirty from handling this thing. Has this like this little touch of trim, and that is a really, really nice touch, a nice little pop of color, very jaunty, very sporty. Trim is just stitched in, no big deal. Completely lined in the same material all the way down the sleeve. The cuffs definitely have some sort of linen or canvas reinforcement. I can see it in the buttonholes on the wrong side. And that's really all the information I can get from that. This thing is so well made that there's not a lot detail visible. It's kind of going off feel. Like, God, look at this thing. It's just, God, it's so stiff. It's so stiff. So the other really, really, really cool thing about this bodice, before I flip it over and we have a look at the back, is that there are 3 button loops at the side here and then at the center back. Obviously, does it connect to the trousers? I don't think so. It must be the skirt. Yep, it buttons to the skirt. So that way you don't have to worry about anything falling down. You have a really nice, clean finish. Oh, what a nice detail. God, this thing is so nice. 2 darts. Very, very curvy, and it's cut, and it's hefty. This is not a lightweight garment. This would definitely help protect you if you're out riding. Beautiful, beautiful construction. Okay, so the collar's coming undone. I've seen this in a lot of my other, especially 1890s, late 1880s garments where they have the stand-up collar. And if you watch Nicole's like tailoring tools and materials video, she kind of touches on a little bit, but you don't really see this in like this part of the garment. It's literally, I've seen advertisements just for collars. Like that's all it's meant to do is to do the collars. But I have a feeling something very similar is going on down here at the bottom as well, because it feels very similar. It's just been encased. It was tacked, looks like it was whipped from the inside, and then the lining of it and then the little brim detail was stitched over top of that. Some nice little top stitching details, which is what we see with broadcloth tailored garments. It adds just a little bit of texture. It also kind of helps keep everything like nice and compact, and just is a nice little like very sophisticated detail. 10 out of 10 recommend that. Other than that, it's actually very, very plain. The skirt Down here at the bottom, this is what I'm gonna call it because I don't really know what else to call it at the moment. It is split so it can go over the hip and doesn't hug. So there is the freedom of movement there. The skirts down here are completely separately stitched on. They're not a part or integral to the top of the bodice, but God, that line! Oh, that line looks so good. Oh my God, what a stunner. What a stunner. Okay. Oh, sweet jingle jangles, you are gorgeous. You're just gorgeous. I want to look at these trousers because this is really cool. Because, you know, everyone's like, oh, women didn't wear pants, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, well, actually they did. It just depends on the context. So let's just start at the bottom because I think this is easier. They are elasticated. They go under the boot, which is actually very common for certain types of riding pants. When I was little and I did saddle seat, like we had the stirrup pants with the elastic go under our boots and we wore Congress boots. Honestly, not that much has changed. Wow, okay, so we have some huge seam allowances in here. Like this is like 2-inch seam allowance. So the bottom of the trousers are not lined, but there is evidence of some stitching for something that was here at some point in time. Machine stitched, unfinished edge because it's broadcloth, so you don't need to cut it. And it has a pretty decent finished edge. It's not the highest quality broadcloth, but it does have a really nice cut edge to it. Some tears from where she has also, I guess, blown out her crotch at some point in time. All of this is very deeply relatable. Button front. I'm honestly surprised someone in the family didn't like nick these to wear in like the 30s or the 40s because these would have been like super cute. All right, so center front fly opening with buttons, not actually that many. And the button placket is actually hidden. It's separate and then attached underneath and then just tacked down. So that way you have a smooth finish. We have the same kind of polished cotton that we see in women's gowns. So in the seat here, you can see it creates this circular shape. There's no exterior padding or protection like you see in riding pants today. It actually, there's some on the inside. It's not leather. It is just a heavy cotton sateen, but it is definitely in there all the way, because she did wear these because she got sweaty crotch. I'm not judging you though. There's no judgment here. Like, when you ride, that's what happens. Woo! She did. Woo! Goodness. There might have been something that's disintegrating in there now. There's some other fibers in there that I'm not totally familiar with. So the back seat is lined and it goes down into the inner thigh just to kind of help keep her comfortable in the saddle when she rode. No pockets or anything, completely unlined. We have darts to shape over the back of the hip. The waistband is actually really simply done. It's just bound in a twill wool tape. And then yeah, just a piece of facing waistband. Polished cotton, just straight-legged, nice curve to really go over the hip. Beautiful. Those actually were pretty straightforward. Riding habit skirts in the late Victorian era, they were shaped. You can see that in drafting manuals that they have the shape for the knee to be set out. So that way when you're sitting on a saddle and you're sitting with your knee up, over the knee and hang very elegant. Where earlier, you know, they were just super long skirts and so women would kind of like, you know, hike them up and just carry them around. But at this point in time, they were actually tailored and shaped and very, very specific in their cut. The skirt is going to be left side opening because we have the 3 buttons here that attach to the back of the bodice. Oh my goodness. God, this thing is wild. Okay, yeah, so you can see the shaping here is for that purpose. We have some lovely darts. Okay, heart is a separate piece that's been laid in like a puzzle. No, it's a dart. You're a dart. You're a dart. You're a separate piece. This must be the center front marking here. We have that little white like crisscross stitch. Ooh, pocket. Oh, neat. Okay, so her pocket's actually hidden on the inside of her button placket. She wouldn't be able to really have access to this unless she unbuttoned part of her skirt, but it's a really nicely made pocket right here on the inside, lined in the blue sateen, like nice tailor stitching just to kind of reinforce that pocket there. That's a really nice detail. Okay, I know what was here. This, I think this has been pulled out, but this would have been, I believe, a hook or something to pull up and basically bustle up the skirt to get it out of your way so you could walk. That's the only reason why that should be there, and there was definitely something here that has been removed. Yeah, and that's all very plain. There's the elastic here, which I believe what that if I remember correctly looking at the manuals, this elastic is supposed to go over your foot to help hold the skirt down so it doesn't fly up. Yeah, and that lines up to where this sits. The long elastic piece to keep the skirt down when you're riding so it doesn't flare up and get in the way. Interesting dart patterning and shaping here. This thing is super wild in how it's cut. This is not for the faint of heart. Okay, so we have that for there. Okay, so this is what I think it is. There's still some buttons where, wait, let me double check something. On the bodice, in the tail, there's a little piece of the twill tape. I think this little bit of elastic here, once this button was hooked, you could loop that button up through, and then that would actually connect to this button here as another way to kind of reinforce, but give it some give. This hook, I think, went to the skirt, and we're just missing the eye. Okay, I feel better now. So I was like, I need to figure this out. I can't. Whoa, okay, well, oh, with the lining, before I forget, it's actually not that complicated on the inside. It's just lined up where the knee section is. The lining up there is a cotton twill weave that's just kind of in the same matching drab color. And that's it. Like, all of the stitching on this garment, and we have uneven seam allowances like in the trousers. So one side is like a beefy 2-inch seam allowance, and then the other side is like 1/4 of an inch, 3/8 of an inch. So it's offset seam allowance. And yeah, it's just been machine sewn. So nothing special there. The raw edges haven't even been whipped down. I mean, hell, there's a little cut mark for where they didn't quite cut it correctly. Well, guys, this has been super exciting for me. This is, wow, like, I cannot believe that I got this. So Josephine Pomeroy-Herrick, riding habit, she was a hot thing, and I am so happy I've been able to share this with you all. You know, it's amazing to me because there's so much that's actually kind of similar to, especially, you know, English style of riding and European style of riding versus like the American Western style of riding. Structure, the trousers, like the padding, this is really special. This is a really special piece, and I'm really excited. And I'm excited to show you more of Josephine's stuff because she was a cool lady. I mean, like, she invented the paper toilet seat covers. I mean, like, come on, like, she's cool. I really hope that you all enjoyed this episode. I am thrilled with this episode. This is just, wow, this is just beyond me. This is so cool. And with that, my friends, I hope that you all have a wonderful rest of your day, and I will see you all back here with a new video very, very soon. All right, bye. Do you want to come see it? Yeah. Okay. I'll go unlock the door. So,
it's impressive. See if it just keeps exploding.
So here it is. Feel this.
Damn.
I know. I was like, what the hell?
Like straight up pasteboard in there. Wow.
Yeah, and it goes all the way around. Like this entire skirt is like,
fun part. It
almost feels like the same stuff as like collar canvas.
Mm-hmm. It's probably the paper stuff that you put in collars. Yeah.
Luckily, I mean, like, okay, like I recognize a lot of the stuff in like the couple of manuals that have ladies' habits in them, but it's like, oof.
Yeah.
They tailored the this.